Just want to be clear, if Roe v. Wade is overturned, no woman, unless her life is at risk, will be able to get an abortion in Arkansas?
If Roe versus Wade is reversed, then the trigger law in Arkansas would come into effect. And whenever I signed that law, I did express that I support also the exceptions of rape and incest. So the life of the mother and rape and incest are two exceptions that I believe should have been added that did not have the support in the General Assembly. But if that Roe versus Wade is reversed, then what we've fought for 40 years in returning the authority back to the states will actually happen. You'll see states making different decisions based upon the values and the consensus of the people of that state.
Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson there, meandering and BSing and stretching and dodging his way through that answer about how he just signed into law, a trigger law, one of the most restrictive anti-choice bills in the country. But he didn't really mean to, because it doesn't include any exceptions for rape, incest, and for children that would find themselves in those situations. Now, that's why he spoke for so long, trying to dodge and not point out that he's perfectly okay with it, because he says he's not okay with it. Now, Andrew Mitchell there on CNN did keep his feet to the fire there on and asked him specifically about examples of, you got 10, 11, 12-year-old girls who are in these positions. What about them? He tries to dodge that one too, but it doesn't look so good. Watch.
Governor, you did sign the law that does not include any exceptions for rape and incest. I know you said that you would rather that not be part of the law, but it is, and you signed it. So I want to discuss the real world implications of this. For example, why should an 11 or a 12-year-old girl who's impregnated by her father or her uncle or another family member be forced to carry that child to term?
I agree with you. I've had to deal with that particular circumstance even as governor. And while it's still life in the womb, life of the unborn, the conception was under criminal circumstances, either incest or rape. And so those are two exceptions I have recognized, I believe are very appropriate. And what will happen as time goes on, if Roe versus Wade is reversed, these are going to become very real circumstances. I think the debate and discussion will continue, and that very well could be revisited.
Did you guys follow what he was saying there? She asked him specifically about 11, 12-year-old girls who find themselves pregnant after being raped by a family member even. And they find themselves in a situation. He says, I specifically seen that as governor, and it's a terrible situation. I agree with you, and I've had to deal with that circumstance as governor. So he's specifically seeing the situation and says, whatever. It's like these politicians to go down to the border and say, I was at the southern border, and that's why I know we need to do something about our immigration issue. This guy's been firsthand seen this issue with children being forced or being raped and then impregnated, yet his answer is, maybe one day they'll do something else about it and they'll move it on down. He's not done because he did it again. Watch one more time.
These are going to become very real circumstances. I think the debate and discussion will continue, and that very well could be revisited.
But Governor, what if it can't be? I mean, you wanted the legislature in Arkansas to put those exceptions in. They didn't. Your term is almost up. What makes you think you can change it? And if you can't, that means that people who are still girls who are still children, 11 and 12-year-olds, might be in this situation in a very real way in just a couple of months potentially.
Well, those are heartbreaking circumstances, and that's where in the last few years when we passed these trigger laws, we're expressing a belief. We're trying to return that authority to the states and to reduce abortions. But whenever you see real life circumstances like that, that debate is going to continue. And the will of the people may or may not change.
That's his straight-faced, very calm answer about how little girls getting raped and impregnated by their family members. It's a heartbreaking situation. Maybe it'll change. I don't give a damn. That's what he's saying. Very calmly, because you don't want to come out and say, whatever, but that's what he said, Jackson. He says, whatever. I didn't like it, but I did it anyway. So why do you do anything that you don't like? How about you do something that Libs want, since you do things you don't like? I think the answer is you did what you liked.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Hutchinson signed this bill because he wanted to. He knew what was in it. And one of the things that he said in this interview that wasn't clipped in was that this is what they've been fighting for 40 years, which, again, this is their full intention. This is their mission. This is what they want. And overall, the less freedom of movement that people have, the more the GOP and the forces that invest most heavily through that party can implement their agenda. And, so whether it's abortion or taking away our rights to vote or just making it harder for people to climb the social ladder at all, this is what they're all about. And he showed it through his demeanor and his words. Give a damn. This is what they do.
Don't care at all. This is about electoral politics. Dude also is potentially going to run for president in 2024. So he definitely has to try and keep himself away from being attached to talking about how he doesn't care that children can be raped, and he's forcing them to have their rapist babies. Because this is the party of children and life, right? Maybe not, but he wants to hold on to that and then tell his constituents back at home, I passed one of the most restrictive anti-choice laws in the country. Hang my hat on that, but I didn't want to. So please vote for me when I run for president. Get the F out of here.